big thanks to Drew Edstrom once again for that awesome interview. He's definitely going to come back because obviously he provides excellent content.
Fantastic.
But, yeah, it was great job. Great job all the way around. But I want to transition now into my favorite topic of the show, and that's the Chicago Bears, because it's always football season, right, Luke?
102 days to
I think it's
the
less than
first
that.
game?
I think we're under 100 games till kickoff.
Under 100.
Or 100 games, 100 days until kickoff.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. Football's already here.
Gotta start thinking about my fantasy team and all the fun that brings.
That already makes me sweat.
Ew.
And I hate it because I'm moist everywhere when I sweat.
Yes. You get kind of red like strawberry.
Well, I did win the championship, by the way, to my credit. And everyone listening, I am a fantasy football champion, so that's over my head.
The first one?
What do you mean first one?
Was that the first one?
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm always in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter. I finally pulled through. But anyway.
Always.
We're talking some Bears on this show, and now that I have a guest on with me to talk Bears that's not Ricky Widmer, because he's always dampening my mood. Luke, are you optimistic about this year?
Optimistic, no. But am I completely dreading it like I was last year? No. No.
Well, okay, well, that's a decent stance. I thought you'd be a little more excited about the Bears.
I'm excited because I love Bears. And I'm also very excited because they have a competent coaching staff, which is awesome.
Well,
and they're making moves. They're getting good. They're building their depth up slowly.
Yeah. No, my stance on going into this season is that they're a playoff team. I'll just flat out and say it.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go as far as say. I say
all right,
8
go ahead.
and 8.
Bring me back to earth.
If you do 8 and 8, 9 and 7, I'm happy. And then the next year, take the step. This is like that year last year the Cubs had. I think.
See what happens.
The Cubs thought they were not going to make the playoffs that year, and they ended up being really good. I'm not saying the Bears are going to just come out and win like 12, 13 games, but I don't think anybody's going to be mad if they miss the playoffs this year.
No,
if they show improvement.
I mean, I would be a little pissed off because, even with that crap team that they had last year, with the lack thereof of talent, I think people are going to be surprised what this defense can do. And now that we have depth and weapons on the offensive end, I feel like they could win some ball games that they didn't necessarily win last year.
I don't know. I kind of also think that, it's going to be important to have a good defense, but I feel like the defense is going to step up, and then the offense is going to be bad.
You think so?
Yeah, I like the running back attack. Jay Cutler looked like he came off one of his best years. The wide receivers scare me.
Do you?
Their durability. I just don't think their durability
that's the thing.
Good at all.
They got to be healthy.
But on paper, I really like their top four. I really like it.
Now let's come back to earth a little bit, and I'm talking to myself because I've spoken highly of the Bears all the time whenever I get a chance to.
Because it's been a lot of months. You're just not sick of them.
Well, after Trustman, I was just about done, but now we're on the up and up, so things are a little better than they were going into 2014. And boy, I'm happy better. Those years are done. My God, that was awful. But
it's kind of fun, though.
The Bears made another roster move. They're bolstering their offensive line depth again. They signed offensive tackle Nate Chandler from the Panthers, and Chandler was hurt for the most part of last year. I don't know if he played, but regardless, he'll fill in, and I think they really like Charles Leno over at left tackle. So if anything happens to him, whether it's an injury or he just is bad, they could plug Nate Chandler in, and I think they're comfortable with that. Now, let's kind of break this team down because you have a running back attack, like you mentioned, with a bunch of young guys, and they're gonna have to ride them. As not only do you have Langford in his second year and Kadeem Carey, who barely plays, but he was in a more exaggerated role last year, but he was limited pretty much on the field for the most part of his career. And then you draft Jordan Howard in the 5th round, and suddenly you have 3 young running back tandems, right? Running your pretty much offense behind Jay Cutler, and you know what? Jay Cutler, over the last few seasons has been the topic of conversation of whether they're unsure about it. Do they have to make a move at the quarterback position? I think this year, it's fine to say that he's your guy, right? And that's not a position of worry. Well, it's kind of elsewhere.
Langford, Carey, and Howard, do they have all different type of skill sets?
Yeah.
Is one good at blocking? Is one good at third downs? Are they different types of runners?
I think Carey, Carey showed me a lot last year. He hits the hole very hard, and he can catch a pass. We saw that.
Yeah, third down back?
So, yeah, that's probably his role. Jordan Howard, he's What
They're going to bring him in with 2 sets with Langford?
Definitely. They're going to mix and match with that. And he also is a hard runner. Lots of positive grades on him. And we saw what Langford did last year. So we have to limit our expectations with this young running back core. But I feel like we could be optimistic about it because we saw the playmaking ability from all 3 of them.
And you saw Fox in Denver. He likes having his running backs. He's having different running backs available to him.
And elsewhere, we look at the offensive line. You think it's pretty set, right? We feel confident in Cody Whitehair, that the second-round draft pick they made left guard. And then you have Kyle Long, obviously, who's arguably one of the best in football at his position. Mm-hmm. And they brought in Bobby Massey, who the Cardinals, who were a playoff team, didn't want to pay. So what are you going to get from him? And I know they bolstered the depth signing backup linemen, which is huge. Because we saw last year, we need depth everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Always. Offensive linemen drop like flies sometimes.
But I feel like this is a competent enough group because we've seen it. I feel like if you understand the fact that the Bears, if they have enough weapons around them on offense and they have the right pieces, and that includes coaching, the philosophy, the playbook, the talent, if you have all of that and it comes into sync, Jay Cutler can win.
They just have to play complete games this year.
The Bears can win.
And close it out.
And then I feel like they're going to rely on their defense some, especially...
A lot.
Well, yeah.
I think a lot.
Yeah.
You just need the defense to step up. If you're thinking playoffs...
Defense has got to play well. And, of course, this goes without saying, you got to rely on people not getting hurt.
They still had tons of holes last year.
Sure. And I feel like that
Ugly
secondary...
holes.
What do you think about the secondary, man? Because I don't know.
Still uncomfortable.
I really is.
It still makes me very uncomfortable.
There are drafts.
They need their draft picks to hit.
Big
they
time.
Need them to hit.
Big time. And I feel like Deion Bush, DeAndre Houston Carson,
I like what I've heard.
I feel like I think we're going to be surprised with some of those names. I feel like they're going to come in and have an instant impact, and I think the Bears will be okay. I think they'll be okay. And I want I've been saying this. I feel like if everything goes their way, it has to. They have the second easiest schedule in football. They can be a playoff team this year. Don't count them out.
Well, they can because I also think the Vikings and Lions are both going to be bad.
You think the Vikings, the NFC North division winning Vikings, are going to be bad?
Yeah, when do the Vikings ever keep things together for more than a year?
Well, their defense is stacked, and their offense has some pretty decent weapons, and especially now with Laquan Treadwell on that. You have Stephon Diggs and Treadwell with. It's just, I guess you got to rely on Teddy Bridgewater, and do you do that? Are you highly on him? Because I'm not. I don't think he's that good.
Because when he... Adrian Peterson is just completely ineffective when Teddy Bridgewater stays in the pocket. It just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. I mean, how long can that last? How long can that be a healthy playoff team combination right there?
Yeah, I don't think the Vikings should be bad. I think it's going to be a 3-team race because the Lions are poo.
I don't think the Vikings are going to be bad, but I don't think they're going to win 10, 11 games.
Ricky, MVP, main guy, have him on the show sometimes, even though I don't want him to be here, but... he thinks that 3 playoff teams are coming out of the North, and I have a hard time disagreeing with him.
You really think that could happen?
I think so, but
I mean,
it's
possible, but I just don't see that happening.
At the same time, the NFC, how many teams are going to be in the mix come, December and January? I mean...
A ton.
The NFC East, I think, is going to be much improved, and I feel like that division might produce 2. I feel like Dallas is going to come on as long as Romo's healthy, which
he's getting up there in age. That's no guarantee.
So, things got to go right for Dallas, but I feel like they're a very good team. They underperformed last year, but they were much better than their record showed, and I think that was obvious.
Yeah.
They just didn't have a quarterback.
Nope.
So,
which is their own fault.
And then you have the freaking 8-8, 9-7 Washington Redskins. Kirk Cousins
coming out of nowhere looking... like $100.
Pretty good, man.
Think he's worth that money?
Well, yeah, I feel like given the quarterback's market, you're going to slightly overpay for all of these guys.
I don't think that East is going to be improved at all.
I think so. And I don't know about the Eagles. The Eagles, I don't know what they're doing. Sam Bradford's kind of poo. But the Giants, I feel like, are going to be competitive as well. But you know what? They're
all going to be around 8-8, 9-7 again.
Yeah,
unless the Cowboys come out of nowhere.
So boom. Bears that's better for the Bears.
It is. It really is.
NFC South, though. NFC South's got some teams. What do you think? Bucks,
Oh,
Saints, Falcons.
Besides the Panthers. Who really scares you? I mean, the Saints are always kind of there at Drew Brees, but do they scare you?
Mm-hmm. And what about Matt Ryan and the Falcons? Yeah. What do you think?
That's terrible.
So that's even better for the Bears. So you have one team coming out of the South, one team coming out of the East, and what? NFC West, 49ers, bad. Rams, meh. I mean, maybe with Carson or whoever they drafted, whatever his name is, Jordan Chase, whatever, Goff. Do you think he can take them to the playoffs? No.
Bears are. There's a clear path for them to win 10 games and get into that second wild card spot.
Definitely, absolutely, they can go 10-6, especially with their schedule.
And that pretty much might put them right in the playoffs in the second spot. Take care of things in your conference. Take care of things in your division.
They can do it. And the start of their schedule is.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
They gotta be able to get off to a good start. Go 3-1. That's good. And you got the Colts and you got the Eagles and the Cowboys up there, and you start off in Houston. So you take care of some of those teams, and you see where you're at in Indianapolis, and we'll go from there.
I've learned to not really look at the schedule sometimes. The Bears, you never know what they're going to give you.
It's a lot of fun to do that.
You never know what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, obviously. Well, remember a couple years ago, it was a couple years ago, we were so pumped about the Bears. They were just coming off, what was it, an 8-8 season after Trestman in 2013, first year, right? And we were like, 2014's the year, baby. We got this
best offense in the world.
Unbelievable offense. The defense will be fine because the offense will just outscore everybody. Trestman's philosophy, the relationship with Cutler, and Matt Forte, Martellus Bennett, Brandon Marshall, all these guys.
Yeah, shouldn't that teach you not to, be optimistic right now?
And then they play the Bills. And what was it, EJ Manuel? Was he the quarterback?
Yep.
And they lost to the Bills, damn it. They lost to the Bills at home on the opener. That's how 2014 started. And we all know what happened. They were giving up 50 points left and right and, losing to teams unbelievably badly. So
it's the ultimate shit show.
Where we've come since then is just really inspiring to me because it's like I was at rock bottom as a Bears fan under Trestman. I was just like, this is such garbage.
Just drinking your life away.
This is the worst team I've ever seen. And I've been watching the Bears since
for 26 years now.
Well, sure. We could say that, or maybe like 47.
Combined, maybe.
Damn it, Luke. I've been a Bears fan for 65 years, all right? And I'm telling you this. Jay Cutler is not the quarterback for this team. And I say this because he throws so many balls to other people that's not on their team. Damn it. Get them out of here. Fire their coach. Fire their manager. Fire their president. And then the Chicago Bears will be good again. I'll hang up and listen to your answer.
You're just not believing. You're just not believing, sure.
Are you telling me after 67 years? All right, that's enough of that. But I'm just so excited. At this point of the offseason, we're just kind of waiting because OTAs are going on. We see these minor stories. Oh, Brian Hoyer and Jay Cutler, they're getting along. That's great. I don't care.
They probably party together.
I'm really going to start paying attention heavily again once training camp starts. Of course, preseason, you got to see what
you're paying attention heavily right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, moderately at the same time because what do you mean? Nope. What do you mean, nope?
You're reading articles in bed probably up until 3 a.m. reading about anything you can.
You know what I was doing? I'm not going to say that. Okay, I was watching Jay Cutler highlights.
Talking about his dogs.
I was watching Cutler's, all of his touchdown passes. I did it. I'd have no shame. I'm going to come out and say that. I watched them all. I kind of skipped Denver. But as a Bear, I remember almost all of them. So, I mean, that's what I'm doing at 3 in the morning. What are you doing? Sleeping? Eating a Krabby Patty or something?
Watching White Sox highlights, man.
Well, Hawkaroo.
Just watching videos of Hawk.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stony Pony.
Just watching Hawk's podcast.
It's like, let's talk about Hawk a little bit because this freaking guy, he's senile as hell. And he's delusional most of the time when he's calling a game. He's not even, you talk
He's just tired.
He's very tired. You talk about a play-by-play guy. He doesn't even call the game. You see?
He's kind of just watching it and saying
what
things.
What did he do when Todd Frazier hurt himself?
He ran down to check if he was okay.
You don't do that as a play-by-play guy.
He's got heart.
He says, oh, oh, I care about him. I care about him so much. I got to go see how he is right then and there. When there's a freaking job you got to do. There's a game going on. Steve Stone's like, oh my God, what am I doing here? You know, it's like, just give me Jason Benetti all the time.
Didn't you see Frazier just run to the dugout in his own power?
Well, I thought he like broke his nose or like, yeah, he bit through his lip apparently, but like, I thought it was fine. Much worse. Yeah,
he's good.
Baseball players, right?
You can't sprint that fast with a broken nose.
You're crazy.
You're crazy. All
right, man. Well, we shot the shit, and it was a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed the Edstrom interview because we liked it.
Yeah, and we smelled terrible this whole time.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we haven't showered in weeks, and I'm moist as we speak. But, Luke, thanks a lot once again for coming on Behind the Pen.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, this is an honor and a privilege.
Absolutely. We're going to have you back sometime. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. And remember, I'm so sorry, Ricky. I forgot to plug the Patreon page and Google Plus and all that, but you guys should follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Podcast. You should follow us, Most Valuable Pod. You should subscribe to our YouTube channel at Most Valuable Podcast. You should follow us on Snapchat, Most Valuable Pod, and become a patron. You go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. You guys become this patron, donate $1 a month. That would be fantastic. Help us produce great content. You have exclusive content for you if you become a patron. I'll be on here naked, but you can't see that. You could probably listen to it, though.
Can I donate $2 a month?
Well, if you can afford it, that would be fantastic. And you would get
I can
exclusive
move some things
content.
around. If I move some things around, I think I can
Perfect.
do it.
We can accommodate to you because we love you and we appreciate all your listening, with your ears.
I better get some Mike Rankin gear.
Everybody, thank you very much for listening to us be idiots. And until next time, we will see you all later.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.